Hey Vikings Nation, what's going on? Purple blood pumping, hearts racing. Because today we've got massive Minnesota Vikings news that deserves your full attention. This is one of those moments where stability meets ambition, where defense meets identity, and where the future of this team gets just a little bit clearer. If you love aggressive football, if you love chaos for opposing quarterbacks, you're gonna love this. Here's the teaser that should already have you fired up. Brian Flores is staying in Minnesota. That's right, one of the sharpest defensive minds in the entire NFL is not walking out the door, not heading elsewhere, not leaving this Vikings defense behind. The front office made a move, and it's a big one. So settle in, because we're breaking down what this means, why it matters, how it impacts Kevin O'Connell, the locker room, and the future of the Minnesota Vikings. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why this decision could shape the next era of Vikings football. Let's start with the headline itself, because it's official and it's powerful. The Vikings have signed Brian Flores to a new contract to remain their defensive coordinator. This isn't speculation. This isn't rumor season. This is confirmed Minnesota Vikings news straight from the league's most reliable insiders. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero reported that the deal was finalized on Wednesday, with the team announcing the extension shortly after. That timing matters because it tells us this wasn't a rushed decision or a panic move. This was planned, deliberate, and strategic. According to reports, the agreement was actually reached last week and simply finalized now. That shows alignment between Flores and the Vikings organization, a shared vision that goes beyond just one season of success. Now, let's address the one wrinkle that still exists in this story. Brian Flores remains a candidate for head coaching vacancies with the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That door isn't fully closed yet, and that's the reality of having elite coaching talent on your staff. But here's the key detail Vikings fans need to hear loud and clear. If Flores does not land one of those head coaching jobs, he is staying right here in Minnesota. That means the default outcome is continuity, not disruption. In other words, the only way Brian Flores leaves the Twin Cities is by getting promoted to a head coach somewhere else. No lateral move, no coordinator shuffle, no surprise exit. That's massive for stability. And let's be honest, this level of interest is not random. Brian Flores is widely considered one of the top defensive minds in the entire NFL. His contract was up, and teams around the league took notice. Defensive coordinators who can transform units don't stay under the radar for long. Tom Pelissero noted that Flores drew significant interest from multiple teams. He even interviewed with the Washington Commanders for their defensive coordinator opening. That tells you how respected he is across the league. Yet despite all that interest, Minnesota locked him in. As of right now, the only way to pull Flores away from the Vikings is with a head coaching title. That speaks volumes about how serious this organization is about defense. To understand why this matters so much, you have to look at the context of the 2025 season. It was a challenging year offensively for Kevin O'Connell's unit. Injuries, inconsistency, and rhythm issues made life difficult on that side of the ball. But while the offense struggled to find its footing, the Vikings' defense stood tall. Night after night, they kept this team competitive. That wasn't luck. That was design, preparation, and execution. Under Brian Flores, the Vikings finished 7th in the NFL in points allowed and 3rd in total yards allowed. Read that again. 3rd in yards. In today's NFL. That's elite, and it doesn't happen by accident. This defense played with teeth. Played fast, aggressive, and fearless. Flores brought his trademark blitz-heavy, pressure-driven philosophy, and he applied it with precision. Quarterbacks didn't get comfortable, and offenses didn't breathe easy. Because of that performance, when the season ended, Kevin O'Connell made it clear internally that re-signing Brian Flores was a top priority. This wasn't optional. It was essential. O'Connell understands that championship teams are built on balance. And when your defense is performing at a top 5 level, you don't mess with that formula. You protect it. Keeping Flores isn't just about 2026. It's about building a defensive identity that lasts, something the Minnesota Vikings can lean on year after year. Let's talk about Flores, the coach, for a moment. At 44 years old, he already brings an incredible resume. His NFL journey includes a long and decorated tenure with the New England Patriots from 2004 to 2018. During that stretch, Flores won 4 Super Bowl rings as an assistant coach in various roles. He learned under pressure in big moments with the highest standards in football. That experience shows up every Sunday. In 2019, Flores took the next step and became the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Over 3 seasons, he helped turn around a struggling franchise and earned respect throughout the league. Despite that progress, he was fired after the 2021 season, a move that sparked controversy and debate across the NFL. Flores didn't disappear after that. He kept grinding. In February of 2022, Flores filed a lawsuit against the Dolphins, Denver Broncos, and New York Giants alleging discriminatory hiring and firing practices. That moment put him at the center of a larger league-wide conversation. Through it all, Flores stayed focused on football. He joined the Pittsburgh Steelers as a linebacker coach and senior defensive assistant, continuing to prove his value and his mind for the game. Then came Minnesota. Since 2023, which was Kevin O'Connell's second season as head coach, Flores has reshaped this Vikings defense from the ground up. Veterans like Harrison Smith found new life in this system. Players like Andrew Van Ginkel and Josh Metellus thrived in versatile, aggressive roles that maximized their strengths. This defense didn't just improve statistically. It developed personality. It attacked, confused offenses. It made quarterbacks hesitate, and that hesitation led to mistakes. That's why this contract extension matters so much. It's not just keeping a coach. It's preserving a culture on defense that finally feels authentic and dangerous again. Unless the Steelers or Ravens come in with a head coaching offer, Brian Flores and the Minnesota Vikings are set up for many more havoc-wreaking autumns together. That's exciting. That's hopeful. So now I want to hear from you, Vikings fans. How important do you think it is that Flores stays? Do you believe this defense can be elite again next season under his leadership? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is a huge moment in Minnesota Vikings news. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with every Vikings fan you know. Skol forever.